What's going on, everyone? So, I want to talk about Zion Williamson and I want to talk about Trey Murphy because, one, those two guys were very impressive all preseason. Those two guys seem to really be building and establishing just a quality connection and relationship. They're making fun of each other, poking jokes at each other, doing like windmill dunks in games, right? Zion's like, yeah, I talked to him about, not passing me the ball. And Trey Murphy's like, I thought you fell type thing, right? And it's just, it's great to see that chemistry and that bond. But one thing about Zion Williamson is, dude, the guy looks great, right? He looks healthy. He's out there. He's moving well, right? Like, you're talking about a guy that, like, there is zero reason he is not looked at as a top 3 to 5 player in all of basketball. I mean, seriously. The guy has every bit. The guy is such a mismatch, such a unique talent and player with his size, his strength, his explosiveness, right? Like the guy can do everything. The guy stuffs the stat sheet, even, through the injury riddled seasons. It's like when he plays, it's like, dude, this is a real player, right? But he's kind of fallen to the wayside because of all the injuries and the lack of consistent play and all those things. But Zion Williamson, you talk about Luka, right? Laker guy, all that, right? Like, but to be fair, Zion Williamson as well has had the same transformation. The guy is slimmed down and in shape, and just like a Luka, you need to see him maintain it. You need to see him, like, it's one thing to actually, go, and become skinny boo, but you need skinny boo to not mess that up. You need him to stay in shape and hopefully not hibernate, right? For those that get the reference. But in general, right, like I love seeing Zion because I think he has all the talent in the world. I think he's a guy that, if he can just get right. Zion Williamson is one of those guys that's just, he's his own worst enemy. Can't get out of his own way. And he has so much insane talent. And he's still young enough to where he can turn it all around. He's still young enough to where he can completely change the narrative, change the dynamic of like him as a player, right? And if he just kind of takes it serious, right? I mean, it could be absolutely game changing. He's 25. He won't be 26 till the end of next season, right? So again, he turned 25 in July. So he's still young enough to where, if he can if this is that first year where he finally gets out of his own way and starts to become the player he becomes, I mean, he could easily move into that top 5 range, at worst top 10, where it's like, man, Zion really is a top 10 player. I mean, the guy is otherworldly. But I also want to loop in Trey Murphy into that because he's another guy that, again, is building a real relationship with Zion. You've seen their kind of chemistry this preseason, as well as just, in interviews and all that other stuff. And he's also the guy that really kind of emerged on the scene for the Pelicans last year, right? He's always been good. It's always been like, hey, he's a guy that, you look at and you're like, man, this guy could be one of the premier 3-and-D wing type guys in the league. But last year, because of all the injuries and everything, Trey Murphy really had to kind of come into his own as an offensive player and really had to start self-creating more and really had to start to kind of open up that all-around game where he's creating for himself, creating for others. I mean, the guy's an insane athlete as well, can defend basically every position on the basketball court, right? Can knock down the 3-ball, create for himself, create for others, right? Like that is, you have kind of your two key components, right? And then they have several guys at the center position. You add in Fears, right? Like, you look at the Pelicans, there's a lot of promise on that team, right? And you have picks and players and a guy like Herb Jones, right? Like, let's say you have Zion at the 4, Trey Murphy at the 3, Herb Jones coming off the bench. I mean, every team in the league would welcome a Herb Jones. And he might actually just end up being the odd man out because you have Zion and Trey Murphy. And those guys are so good. And those guys are building that chemistry and that and those guys are still young enough to be on this roster and on this team for the next 10 years, right? So to me, it's like, it really boils down. Can the Pelicans stay healthy, right? Start kind of developing and growing guys over the next year or two. Like, I could see them being a playoff team this year, right? Like, if, again, all the components and pieces fall into place, still got DeJounte Murray. I said they could go make a big splash trade. They could go do things to really kind of expedite things if Zion's healthy, right? And, Trey Murphy is good and all that. And again, Trey Murphy emerged really last season. First season averaged 21 points, shot the ball well, self-created, all of that, can slot in either forward spot, which is good, gives you that versatility, so you can even run lineups where like Zion's your small ball 5 with Trey Murphy at your 4, Herb Jones at your 3, go with like a DeJounte Murray and whatever, right? Like, so there is, the versatility that comes from a Trey Murphy and a Zion, but Zion, the best version of Zion I think I have seen, in my opinion, it was the Lakers game in which he got hurt a couple seasons ago, where the Lakers had to like beat them back to back twice. Like if the Lakers won, they were going to play each other in the play, and if the Lakers lost, then they could potentially miss the play entirely or drop to the 10th seed or whatever. And it was the game Zion got hurt. Now the Lakers were winning in that fourth quarter before Zion got hurt. They had a pretty, not like it was for sure that they were going to win, but they had a cushion. I think it was like 6 points, something like that, where, and the Pelicans really couldn't stop the Lakers. The Lakers were just getting whatever they wanted offensively. But that was the first time I really saw Zion just go, give me the ball and get out of my way. Right? Like, Zion basically took that game over for the Pelicans, really buckled down, bought in, worked his tail out, and Lakers had zero answer for him. They were throwing everybody at him, doing everything, Anthony Davis, all of it. And Zion was just like, I'm the best player on the court. Right? None of you guys can stop me. And I remember just sitting there going like, this guy is unbelievable. He was just dominating, getting and ones, doing all this stuff. The problem was the Pelicans couldn't stop the Lakers on the other side. Otherwise, it probably would have been a little concerned, a bit like, Lakers might lose this game. I wasn't really worried about the Lakers losing this game because it was like Zion would score and then the Lakers would score. And then Zion would score and the Lakers would. But Zion had like 12 straight points or something like that, and then he ended up getting hurt. And it was just unfortunate to see because it was like, man, there he is. There's that guy. There's that, give me the ball, get out of my way. I'm the best player on the court. And that was on the court with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in that moment. And he just was, he was undeniable. And I was just like, there is no reason this guy isn't at least top 10 player in all of basketball. Guy has every tool in the book, every capability. So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what the Pelicans did. I really wanted to, especially after seeing how good those two looked in particular in preseason, how well they played off of each other and stuff. Again, it's just health, staying in shape, staying disciplined, and all those things. But we'll see. We'll see how this season goes and progresses. Again, I don't think that they're winning a championship or even going to be a top team or anything like that. But again, look, was it 2 seasons ago? They were like the 1 seed, like midway through the season, and then injuries started to happen, all that stuff, and they lost a bunch of games. So never say never. You never know. But anyways, always, this is a discussion. Pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.